Welcome back to the Abundant Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Banks. And on my platform, I like to take faith and business and combine it into one platform. You know, they say that the biggest gap in the world is between knowing and doing. And the reason a lot of people don't do is simply because they lack the knowledge. So today I have a very special guest with me, my boy Keon.
Yes, sir.
This is somebody that I met when I was working at a recovery center out here in Virginia.
Yeah.
And just from the time we met, I knew this was somebody I had to mirror my success against. He's a dad, football coach,
Yes, sir.
you know, motivational speaker, even if he knows it or not. Just the words that he spoke, man, it hit home. Reminded me of like my older brother. So with it being Black History Month, I really want to touch on the topic of being a black father, being a black dad. What does that look like? What does that sound like internally, externally? What does it make our sons look like and feel externally? Because I feel like this is something that really isn't talked about. You know, and sometimes it is talked about, but it's talked about behind closed doors. So we want to publicize this conversation and bring it to the platform of abundant behavior. But before we get too deep into it, I just want Keon to introduce himself, tell a little bit about who he is and just where he's from, you know, and then we can get right into the conversation.
No doubt. I appreciate it, man.
For sure.
Having me on your platform.
Yeah,
bro.
for sure, man. I appreciate you coming out, bro.
It's been a while since we sat down
Yeah,
and kicked it and talked.
For sure,
but
yeah.
Yeah, man. Name Keon, Coach Winley. I coach at Western Branch High School, man. I'm the quarterback coach over there. I do train athletes as well. Just a regular guy, man. I'm from Portsmouth, Virginia. Been here pretty much all my life. Went off to college, play football.
For sure. Yeah.
Communications major, so talking in front of cameras and on the mic, that's normal.
Okay, got you. So yeah, he's been here before. Yeah, he got
this
that part.
This easy,
It's
man.
easy work.
But yeah,
For
man,
sure,
I'm
yeah.
just a regular guy, man, from around the 757, just
Yeah.
trying to keep a level head and do what's right.
Do your part.
Be an example for some of these young men out here, especially my own child, 2 children, but
Got you.
the one that's present, amongst me right now. But yeah, man, that's about it.
For sure, I appreciate
you,
that,
man.
and I appreciate you, man. So we can hop right into it, man. So what does being a father mean to you? What is it when you hear that, man? Somebody say, "Man, you a good father, man." What does that being a father mean to you?
The toughest thing when somebody say, man, what does it mean to be a father? It's speechless, bro. I be
Right.
speechless, man. I enjoy the fact that I got 2 young men that look up to me. I'm their hero, I'm their Captain America or Thor, or So
Right.
it's like it's a beautiful thing, man. I take pride in it. I think that's my best attribute in life, man. Is just being a father, man. I really embrace it and I enjoy
That's
it.
dope. That's
Yeah,
dope.
man.
Yeah, man. I can attest to that as well. I was like when I became a dad, man. I was 20 years old when I found out. And, man, I was scared. Like, I didn't know what to do, man. I'm like, man, my life just getting started. So you think your
Yeah.
life about to be over. Me not being 21, I'm like, man, my life is just about to get fun.
Still wet
21.
behind the ears.
But at the time, I just had to do what I had to do. Of
course.
And it's been 7 years, and it's been lovely. Like, he's my driving force.
Yeah, no
Like,
doubt.
I always tell myself, I never had a son. I think I would have just been off doing whatever. And every time I decide to fall off the deep end or, like, I catch myself, God bring me back. Like,
Yeah.
you got somebody behind you that's
somebody paying
mirroring
attention to you.
exactly who you
Yeah.
are. So you definitely got to be on your P's and Q's when it comes to being a
always,
dad.
man, always, because they always watching and they imitate everything you do. It's crazy. You said, man, you was scared, man. I don't think I was scared.
Oh, yeah.
I got that call. I was at work, and the way it was delivered to me was kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? I gotta
Got you.
say it was kind of cute. So it didn't put a lot of stress on me, but it did wake me up. So
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't scared, man.
Nah.
I wasn't scared. I was like, let's go.
You was ready for it? How old were you at the time?
Boy, that was a minute ago. 15 years ago.
Okay,
so.
okay, yeah. You was ready, man.
Yeah,
you
but
was
I was
ready.
ready.
You was ready for
I
sure.
was ready.
Had you already graduated college at this point?
No, the crazy thing is, man, I graduated college December 2009. My son was born November 2009.
Oh man, so look at that.
It was my gift. That was my
dope,
gift.
Man.
Yeah,
that was
man.
dope. So you found out like right at the end of college. So you like it's go time anyway.
Well, I found out
Well, yeah, obviously
while I was in
Yeah.
college, but that was my prize, man,
Yeah.
for me graduating.
And at the time you been a senior, were you playing ball at the time?
No, what
Okay.
happened was I had forfeited my senior year because I
Okay.
went and tried out for the Georgia Force Arena League team.
Okay.
And I got chosen to make the team, and I signed some paperwork,
Yeah.
not knowing that I was forfeiting my senior year.
Forfeiting that
And then
eligibility.
my eligibility.
Mhm,
And my
yeah.
senior year, the arena league shut down.
That's crazy. I mean, God is
Yeah.
God, everything happened for
So,
a reason,
yeah,
man.
man.
It's crazy.
So things happening, but I'm blessed, man.
Yeah, man. A lot of black dudes, man. Even the way that they push it in media, sometimes even on TV, you might be the football player, and you found out you having a baby. A lot of dudes, man, it's time to drop out and go get some money.
Go to the league.
Yeah. What was your driving force to just keep you grounded in school, knowing, all right, man, I got a baby on the way. Let me get these credits out the way. Let me buckle down.
To be honest, the driving force was I'm gonna be a dad.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Like I knew somebody else was coming into this world, and I was responsible for him. So
yeah, that type of mentality, man, can that be obtained, or is that something that has to be in you, man? Because a lot of people tuck their tail when it comes to stuff like that.
you're right.
Is that something that has to be obtained, or is that just got to be in you, man?
I really think you gotta have it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta have it, especially and I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll touch base on it later. Like I already had a drive in me that when I did become a father,
It was up.
it was on.
Yeah.
Okay, no doubt.
So how was it with your father figure, your dad? How was their relationship growing up, and how did that mold you into the man?
That was the drive I was just speaking on,
Right.
man. Like, no disrespect, no love lost to my pops, man. I love my pops to death. I didn't really have a lot of time with my pops growing up.
Okay.
He was here and there, but he had family elsewhere.
Right.
So I didn't really get to be molded by my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I had to really pretty much learn on my own how to be a dad. Still learning.
No,
even,
that's an
even at
everyday
this point,
process,
you know,
right.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I still, like I said, man, me and my pops now we're like, man, we tight. We talk. It's not all the time, but it's here and there.
Right.
But I didn't really have my pops in my life growing up as much as I would have liked to.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, my dad was there, man, but my dad also worked a whole lot, man.
Okay.
So he was one of those dads, he gonna make sure he there.
Mhm.
It might be for the first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but he gonna come show his face, he gonna bring the gift, and he gonna dip. But just having that, man, was like more than a lot of dudes I know had
Yeah.
that connection. Like
Yeah.
me and my dad used to connect because he's from the South. I'm from Chicago. My dad's from Birmingham, and me and him, like a lot of times the family wouldn't even feel like going to the reunion. Me and him
Right.
would get in the van. We'll travel those 12, 13 hours, just me and him.
Yeah.
And then, man, right before I joined the Navy, we went to Detroit. And I had my license, and this was my first time driving my pops to the reunion. So I think that was pretty cool, man.
That's a
So
bonding moment.
yeah, man. So just
Yeah.
having those small moments to hold on to, really, in those moments where you like, man, it's a lot on my table, but I got a son who's looking at me. It's those moments you remember back with your dad. You like,
Yeah.
he probably was going through a lot internally, but he still made life seem so much safe for me. So it's time for me to just extend that same grace.
That's
I think
dope.
that's one thing I picked up from my dad. And also he would always say, man, y'all don't got to ask nobody for nothing around y'all as long as y'all see me standing on this earth.
Right.
And that stuck with me too, is because it's like, he probably didn't have it, but my dad always made sure he went and got it and made sure that we didn't see the fact that he ain't having it. If he said he didn't have it, probably was only going to be telling you that for a couple days because he always came through, man. So that was pretty dope, man.
No doubt.
So at what moment did you truly feel like a dad? Like, man, no, this is real. Like, was it on that birthing table? Was it like a moment where he was getting bucked with you? Or was
on the birthing table, man?
Got you.
I can't front. He came out of there, and he had a cone head, right?
right, okay.
So it scared me, man. I was like,
This
yo,
real life. This ain't human.
I'm like, what's wrong with
y'all
my
doing
child, man?
What y'all doing with my son, man?
Yeah,
No, for sure.
But me being green to it, man. My grandma's like, "Nah, you just gotta, rub his head and it'll
Right.
shape form or whatever." But
Yeah.
that's when it really hit me, man. When he came out, man, and you see the videos where dudes cut the umbilical cord and
Right.
they pass out.
Yeah.
Nah, I was all in it, man.
Nah, for sure.
I'm
right
like
there.
right there.
Locked
I'm
in.
I'm locked
Locked
in.
in,
So
man. Yeah.
that's when it really hit me, man.
Yeah, that's dope, man. So,
Yeah,
because
I cried like a baby too.
yeah, it was crazy because his son's mother, man, it was almost time to have my son. I probably was out to sea for like a month. This is when I was in Washington State. I was stationed over there. This is 2017 at the time. And then we come back. I had like this nice little event planned for us in Seattle. We was going to take the ferry over there. She like, all right, well, I got like a scheduled doctor's appointment today. So we're going to go to the doctor's appointment, then we're going to pack and we're going to leave.
Okay.
We go to the appointment, they said, well, you got to stay here. We're going to induce you today. I didn't even know I was having my son that day.
Wow.
I said, I know this not happening. I just came off
Just
a boat
out of the blue.
out of the blue. I said, all right, brother, this the moment you've been preparing for.
That's
This
crazy.
the moment you've been preparing for. Your God, look, hey, surprise. You came back. And then that's the moment I knew it was real for myself as well, man. When I had my son, I held him for the first time, cutting that. I didn't know the umbilical cord was that thick. I'm like, man, they don't look this hard on TV.
What's crazy is it don't look the same. It don't look the same.
They have everything, but yeah, that was the exact moment right there. I knew it's all right. It's go time. You got to really buckle down, man.
Yeah.
And then, so what's one lesson that has taught you though, like being a father, if you could say?
Man, I'm always on point, man.
Yeah,
that's one thing, especially when I have both of them together. I got two sons, a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Okay.
When I have both of them together, I gotta be on point because one, it's like night and day.
Okay.
Hot and cold, east, west, however you want to
So
put it.
who's the calm one? The oldest
My
one?
oldest one.
It always seems they say the youngest one always the one.
The youngest one.
That's what they were saying
up.
about me growing up. I was that one. That's what they.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying about me. Everybody thought I was the problem child for a long time. Like the way I turned out, a lot of people like, man, I didn't know you.
Man.
But
my
it's
oldest.
I just didn't know how to shut up,
chill.
man.
He's so chill. It's like frustrating now because sometimes I need him to be like pepping your step, but but that's they keep me grounded, bro. Because I got one that's like me and he mad chill, and I got one that's like on 1,000. So then I gotta find a balance between like, okay, I'm playing video games with the oldest one and we chilling, but then I gotta go here with the youngest one and turn up and be active. So they just being grounded,
keep you on your toes,
keeping me grounded on my toes, man. Both of them,
for sure, for you too. Just always, you gotta always be on point.
Yes, sir.
When you a dad. And that can just be just outside, being watchful, being vigilant.
Even with what I say, man. Like,
for sure,
I try my best not to curse around my children. Okay.
Because that's definitely commendable. That's definitely commendable.
That's a behavior that, like, it carries on outside of your house, man. And I'm not knocking anybody who curse or whatever.
Right,
but like,
for sure.
When you being cursed at as a kid, that break your spirit, man. Like, if you ain't do well and your parent, like, they talking to you, but they cussing. You don't know, if that cuss word really means something. So, I'm always on point with them dudes, man, because I know at some point it's gonna be their turn, with their kids. So I just try to be on point, man.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because I was reading up on something. I don't know if you ever heard of it, called the attachment theory. And the attachment theory basically says that the way that your child care providers at a young age they interact with you is the way that you'll interact in relationships when you get older. Okay. Romantic relationships, friendships. One thing that I noticed about myself when it comes to the attachment theory was that growing up, my mom, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with my mom in one house, my dad in one house. Right. So my mom, man, she was very reactive growing up. So she would like curse, yell, scream. But I knew my mom loved me. It was never like a point in time when my mom was screaming and yelling that I ever questioned like, oh, she don't love me. That's just how my mom is. Correct. But growing up, when I got into a relationship with women, I started to see like if a woman wasn't being combative, they wasn't yelling, I'm like, oh, she don't love me. That's just, it was crazy.
We're going to say this for another podcast.
For sure. But that's just how it was. And so like you was back to what you was saying with just how you cursing and the example, it's just, some of it becomes embedded behavior that you don't even realize until later. You know what I'm saying? It could be festering.
Blindfold, man. You don't really see it, but it's there. It's there.
For sure, man. For sure. Especially like just having the boys, helping them to grow up and really hone in on their emotions as men and being able to challenge that. That's like the biggest thing that you could do as a dad, just showing them emotional intelligence.
Yes, sir.
And that's what a lot of, man, I had every day I'm trying to change and get better just because I want to be a better example to him.
I don't even know if that's a part of the question there, but that's definitely something that's major with me.
Yeah, right? For sure. Yeah.
I'm so non-emotional, you know what I mean? but my sons, both of them, man, will cry.
So in touch, man.
My
son
they have
too.
Soft moments, and I'm be like,
the old school parent in you.
Stop crying, boy. You're supposed to be a man. Like, for sure. I knew what that did to me. So I allowed them to have that moment of vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned through them.
Yeah, for sure. No.
By allowing them to share their feelings, it has taught me that, okay, Keon, now you can express yourself, but this is how you go about doing it. So that's big.
For sure. Because a lot of times we can be, you can still be stuck as a child in some areas of your life if you haven't resolved from it. And like you said, my son is real in touch with his emotions too. Like any little thing, he'll cry, he'll show it. But I always tell him, son, once you get through this and you cry, it's still that problem is still gonna be right there. So go ahead and handle your business. But I want to let you know, once you finish, we still gonna have to figure out how we gonna get this done.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's a part of growing as a young boy growing into a man. Is like problem solving is gonna be at the forefront of your problems most of the time.
It's all the time.
So it's like once you finish, we gonna let's solve this. And I want you to know you're gonna be this feeling that you feel is just you feeling uncomfortable about something new, and you're gonna feel this a lot. So just know this not gonna be a new feeling. You're not gonna be able to get away from this. So just deal with it.
Let's get to it.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare? Like, how are you preparing your boys for the challenges that black men and black boys face?
Man, every day is a challenge with both of them being that they different. I don't really. My youngest live in San Francisco, so
okay, San Fran. I have a godbrother in San Francisco. That's crazy.
So I don't really have the space to really put hands on and teach him. But you know, when we communicate, I try to let him know more so him because he's inquisitive about everything, you know. He'll ask you a question of like, what's this, what's that. So with him, it's more so like just being conscious and being understanding of like what's going on around you, right? You know, the stigma of being a black boy, especially in San Francisco, man. It's a lot of going on. What they call a fishing pot or fishing
melting pot.
Melting pot, yeah.
Full of people, So it's all you're gonna run into a lot of different people that's different than you.
You really the minority, you know what I mean? Or you're a part of the minority. So it's like, you know, you're gonna get labeled if you do this or do that. So, you know, with him I just try to communicate as best as I can. With my oldest son, being that he here, I just try to be the example. It's a crazy story that probably happened about maybe a month or so ago. We pulled up at a 7-Eleven, and 2 kids walking around with the shiesties on.
Right, it's in Portsmouth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. So, you know, and I'm like, I see him, and I'm on guard because I grew up in Portsmouth. I grew around uncles and cousins, so I'm like, okay, something don't look right. I'm like, yo, I got to protect my son. But the way I'm carrying myself, he just like, he just out of it.
Yeah, because at the time, you know as a dad, like, it might be something, but you got to act normal.
You got to be cool because I don't want him to be like, what's going on?
Yeah, right,
so,
right. It'll make it worse.
Man, like, you know, and I'm like, I'm trying to get to the car to get my, you know, and I'm like, boy, but my son just so green to what's going on.
Yeah.
Crazy thing is, after all that, the dude like, oh, what's up, Kajon? It was one of my son homeboys.
Oh yeah.
But to me, I'm like, you trying to rob me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know, I try to lead them, but I try not to show them. Like, man, my kids don't grow up in the city of Portsmouth around everything that I grew up around. But you know, I just try to prepare them for what's to come, man, because you can be labeled, bro, just for being black.
Yeah. So I also, man, I try to empathize with my son as well, letting them know like it's. Growing up, I don't even sugarcoat the history of what's going on. I'm actually telling him, but I'm also telling him like, son, you have to still coexist with certain people.
Correct.
You still have to live with these certain people. Just know it's a certain group of people that don't like us.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And this is something that that's how it is, son. You know, he doesn't understand why, but I'm just letting him know that's just how the world is.
It is that way.
So you have to just like, you could be their friend, but just know sometimes you might run into people who just don't like you just because of how you look. But I'm always encouraging him, like, your black is beautiful. You're handsome, son. You know what I'm saying? Stand up, like, always stand up with your chin up, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm preparing him for because that's going to help him learn who he is and know himself. And I think knowing yourself is how you prepare for being a black man. And today it's just once you know yourself, can't nobody make you move. Can't nobody, like, you firm in it. You firm in it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like a lost art because a lot of black fathers aren't around. And that's where that comes when you feeling, I don't think my outfit look good today, Dad. Man, what you mean?
Yo,
hey, put your head up, man. This is the man in the fit. Don't worry about, so.
But my 15-year-old, we had those talks. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's just being there for him, man.
Yeah.
So how do you balance teaching them about their history with keeping them hopeful for the future too? Because I know that can be like I was just saying, I'm telling my son, like, it's people that don't like her. How you like keep them hopeful? Like, all right, even though, because I mean, just by being an example, I would assume too.
Yeah, well, that's the way I do it, man. Like, you know, I can't create a ideal person if I'm not being that person for my son. So
most definitely.
my examples, man, like I said, you mentioned the fashion. When they go to school, they seeing kids wearing their pants sagging down and stuff like that. So if I'm doing it, then he gonna be like, oh, okay, it's cool to do it. That's just an example. But like just the way, I carry myself, man, I try to be the best example. I teach my son, my son mothers don't touch no doors.
Right.
When we going into a store, he know, go get that door for your mom. You know what I'm saying? Take care, be a gentleman. The chivalry part.
For sure,
so,
yeah.
But to touch back on, the history, man, like, I don't really, this is just me. I don't really, like, dive into the history of, like, slavery and all that because I don't want to keep reminding.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah.
It's like, let's move on. Let's be better. Especially nowadays, man, where we got the same resources. We can still go find the same information.
Yeah.
But I just overall, man, I don't really dive into
too deep into Yeah, I don't really. I mean, this month particularly, I have, but I'm always big on just results as well. Like, I'm big on going out and producing results no matter what you've been dealt. And I think it's because I've been through so much as a person.
Right.
I've been through so much as a kid. It's like, God didn't bring me this far just to leave me right here.
Not you.
You know what I'm saying? Not me.
Yeah, not
you know, I'm not going to, what I'm saying? We talk every day. So that's just the biggest part of it as well. As I know you can go out and produce whatever you want, son, and ain't nobody gonna stop you because we've had powerful leaders forever.
Correct.
So it's not so much as teaching. It's just just going back to your power, son, knowing who you can become if you want to be. Because there's a lot of people that use that as excuses.
If you
they use it as a crutch, and so I don't try to give him any crutches. I let him know it's limitations out here, but if you want to get it done, son, it's nothing else to it but to just get it done.
Just get to it.
So have you had any like really hard conversations with your 15-year-old? I mean, with him being a teenager, you may have,
We haven't had
real hard ones yet.
Not those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coming though.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the hardest conversation that I had to have with my 15-year-old was just explaining to him that me and his mom not like that.
Yeah, that's that's a hard conversation because I've had that as well with my son only being 7.
Yeah,
and
my youngest son, I think the hardest conversation is just like, hey, dad, mom not married no more, and I got to go over here and you going over there, but we still gonna work together as a family and things like that. So I think that's probably the hardest conversation I had with both of them. I know my 15-year-old, man, he 15. I always tell him I was 15 before, bro. So I already know. When you tucked off in that room.
You know what I'm saying?
But that conversation coming, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that was the hardest conversation I had as well with my son because he just asks and he don't really know. But just letting him know, especially it was a point in time where his mom had a boyfriend, and my son's coming here. He just doesn't understand the dynamic of it. And so just having to sit with the mistakes that you made and answer to your children. Yeah. You never think you'd have to answer to your children, but it's like these questions will come the older that they get. And I think it was more so me putting my pride down. Like, he's allowed to ask you these questions because he's holding you accountable to decisions that you made as a man. He's watching you. And they're conscious.
That's where I learned my vulnerability through them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I had the space to ask those questions growing up.
Man, right. You see how that dynamic is different?
You
know what I mean?
I couldn't be soft, so I couldn't be like, hey, Mom, why this? And if I could, I didn't think I had the option. But, that's probably the most challenging conversation.
Yeah, that's something big that you said. Slowly but surely, I had to stop trying to be the parent that I was parented. Like, I had to move away from that. Man, because I used to pop my son for everything. But one of my friends brought me to the side when my son was like maybe like 3, 4, 5. How old was Angelo? It's about 3 or 4 years. It's about 2019, so this is a minute ago. Yeah. So my son had to be like 3 after my deployment, but I was just doing what I was taught. He said, bro, you got to stop popping from everything. He said, he going to resent you when you get older, bro.
Correct.
And it was that conversation with one of my friends that's my age that made me realize, like, you're parenting how you was parented, but that's not the way to go about it.
It hurts, bro. It's a generational hurt.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand that. Like, if my grandparents did this to my mom and my dad, then my mom and my dad did this to me, but it don't feel good, why would I teach them that? So, that's why me personally, man, I try to allow them to have that space to be vulnerable. And like I said, man, even though I'm still, I know I got to work on it, but they allowed me to be vulnerable with them. So that's
Man,
yeah.
I'm definitely moving into more of a space where I just allow him to express himself as a kid, because I can get to a point where I'm forgetting he still is a 7-year-old sometimes. I'm like, bro, you need to get your room. You need to be, why you got this. I'm like, I'm going crazy, giving all the responsibility, even though he should know better. But it's like, child at the end of the day.
Still a kid, man.
Still a kid. So I'll be having to give myself a reality check sometimes, trying to figure out, am I putting too many expectations on him, or should he be responsible, or am I not doing enough? That battle is crazy, where
tough.
You feel like,
tough.
That battle, I'll be sitting here like, I just did all that.
For what, though?
And then I'm like, nah, I need to do that, right?
Like, why did I do that? And you be like, nah.
Nah.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. Trust me. I know.
Back, you don't know whether you been too hard, but you like, man, I'm trying to be that better parent. Was that a better parent decision that I just made? You know what I'm saying? And my hardest thing too is like sticking to what I said. Like, if that homework don't get done, that game is gone.
But you gotta stick to your guns.
Yeah.
You gotta stick to your guns, man. Cause I tell my oldest all the time, like, boy, like, if you don't, and then I be like, I know I ain't gonna put my hands on you, cause that's what happened to me. And I know how I turned out. But then there's days when I be like, boy, I'd have grabbed you up for real, boy. But you gotta stick to your guns, man.
For sure. So how do you instill confidence and pride in your boys, but also letting them know, like, man, don't bully nobody, don't walk around, carry that, be humble, but just letting them just have a sense of pride about themselves?
My confidence for me is internal, bro. Yeah. Like, the example with my oldest is, like, he's the oldest. He don't have cousins his age that he grew up and went and spent the weekends with. So, like, my confidence came from, like, being able to beat and outdo the cousins that I had around me that was challenging me, pushing me.
That was, like, where your confidence
started. Like, we out at the playground and I can't beat my big cousin. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that motivated me to be like, I got to get better. Mm-hmm. And then once I did beat him, I could beat everybody. See, my youngest son don't have that. He didn't have that. So it's like, with him, his confidence come from me just pouring into him. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a 15-year-old kid who, like, don't have anybody really around him but his mom, his grandparents, his uncle. But his uncle is in a different state. So it's like constantly pouring into him, dog. You this, you that, you great.
Yeah, that's important.
My youngest, man, like I said, I don't really get as much of that same energy with him being that he's all the way in California. But when I talk to him, man, I talk to him just the same way we are, mellow. I don't yell at him. And I always tell him, man, you a king, man.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
With the distance thing, man, that's something that that's something that I've always feared. You know what I'm saying? That just that distance gap. Oh, boy. You know what I mean? Because it's just, you want to be there for your kids at a blink of an eye, like a phone call, like, I'm just running up to the school, or you know what I'm saying? So that anxiety always weighs with me. Like, maybe if it's that one day that I just don't have him where I can get to him, man.
Bro.
But it's just like one day it's gonna be like he gonna have to be that man for somebody else too. You know what I mean? So it's just that part right there. That knowing, like, tomorrow, you don't know what's tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow might move. You don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know so it's just like that right there, that dynamic. Because I always told myself I wanted all my children to come from one woman. I wanted dynamic in one house. So that was just like living with that, knowing like that whole dynamic is off, and at any moment, just me being able to have my son every day is something that be eating at me, man, for sure.
That's one of the hardest things that I deal with every day. Mm-hmm. Is the fact that my youngest, who so clingy to me, all the way on the other side of the world, you know what I'm saying? But the communication, man, I whoever came up with FaceTime,
it makes
whoever came up with FaceTime, salute to you, 'cause that helps, bro.
No, it does.
It really does, man.
Because you can sit there and do homework with them real quick. Dad, look at this. Let me show you this. Let me watch this. Let me do 10 push-ups.
And that's
my son be calling me all night, 9 o'clock. What's up, Dad? He called me last night. He's 7. He was like, Dad, I took the HDMI cord. I hooked up the Xbox. I was like, good job, son.
My youngest son a genius, man, brainiac. So he called me a lot of times with stuff like, he speak Mandarin, man, at 10 years old.
That's dope. Oh, so, you got a genius on your hands,
so
for
he'll
sure.
call me and he'll be like, I'd be like, bro, I don't know what you're saying, but, I play along with it, So,
no, for sure,
That's crazy. No offense to Asians, so, yeah, man.
Man, so what's one myth about black fatherhood that you want people to stop believing, if you could say, man?
I would say that a lot of black men don't get credit for how they feel.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because all black men ain't there. Let's use the term that society used, deadbeats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're not there, you can't provide, or you don't have the finances to do what you're supposed to do as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean that you don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now you do got some guys out here who just dropping seeds everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more black men who do care about their kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just not able to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
whatever reason, if they
Mm-hmm.
street life or
Yeah.
the criminal background, they can't get a job here and there, or they just not they not qualified.
Yeah.
For certain stuff. So I think that's the biggest myth, man. Because me growing up, and it's once again, there's no knock on anybody. The way I was presented, my dad was like, "Your dad ain't this. Your dad ain't that."
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If a child support check was 25 cents, oh, see, this ain't this what your daddy this way.
Right.
And
That's
like
how
the
it was
older
presented.
I got, it's like, yo, he could have been doing the best he could, or he could have just been sitting on his backside. But I don't think that made him not care about me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
not love me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think that's the biggest myth, man, is that just
Yeah.
because a black father is not present doesn't mean that he don't care.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's big too, because a lot of people, they like, man, he ain't around, he ain't never came around. But one thing that I always said was, man, if I was never, like, even if I wasn't financially the way that I am, I would still want to be around.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
even if it's you embarrassed, like, I would always take somebody being around. I don't really this wasn't a third, I ain't had this. I just wanted you around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I know what that did. Like, kids don't really care about money growing up. Like, they don't
even really know.
They don't really know about what the
They really
finances
don't
going
really
to.
know.
All they know is
Yeah.
my dad was never around.
Yeah.
My dad, because you know what I mean. So
That's
it's,
big you say that, man, because I can tell you
because
right
you
now.
can lead with finances as a man your whole life, but your kids don't know finance with a two paying the phone bill. That shit don't matter to the kid.
I can't
But-
name every gift that my dad potentially got me,
Right.
but I know for a fact 3 football games that my dad showed up to, and those 3 football games meant the most.
Yeah. You know
Because
what I mean?
he was there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you right, just being present, bro.
Yeah,
just being
listen,
present.
My
man.
dad would my dad would show up to my baseball game probably like the first 5-10 minutes. What's up, Ollie? Yo, bring me sunflower seeds. He'd throw the ball with me for a second. But that made me feel so good about myself for the
my
rest of the
God.
game.
Oh my
I ain't
God.
even really
Yeah.
care about nothing else. Like,
That's it.
my mom, and that's what's crazy. Like, dads are important because, like, my mom will be there, like, cool, my mom. But, like, when my dad showed
But when
up,
your dad show up,
I'm like, man, like, that felt.
everything changed. The dynamic changed, man.
I don't know what it is, man.
It's
And
the
that's
presence, man. It's the presence
Yeah.
of the. I'm gonna just say the dad as one, but the black dad, man.
Right, for
Because
sure.
we get beat down so bad by society,
Mhm.
and we still walk in the room powerful
And had a powerful- that presence,
yeah,
right.
the
Mhm.
presence, man. So that's dope.
For sure. I know another time having a pride as a black father, you like, I'm a raise them my boys, you know. So how is it important to having a community of men around your sons? How important is that?
Very.
Yeah.
Very, because once again, I grew up without my pops around, and I had to lean on my uncle, my cousin, some of the homies' pops. So you're gonna get a different perspective, and you're gonna get a different idea of what things are from different guys, man.
Right.
So a community of men is important, bro. It's important. Like
They all teach different
they
stuff.
teach something different.
Mhm.
And they might teach the same thing, but they're gonna give you a nugget here and there that might you missed it with the last conversation. So it's very important, bro.
So growing up, I just tell you my dynamic. Growing up, I have an older brother. My older brother is 41 now. He's 41 now. Yeah, I have an older brother who's 41. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
he
shout
was
out.
like a real father figure to us growing up. Like, he grew up really fast, and he had a best friend named Marlon. He have a brand called Faith 12. You've probably seen the brand on my social media, but like, my brother was like a disciplinary, so like a lot of the conversations that brothers would have around that time, we wasn't really having, because most of it was just discipline. Like, and I really thank him for that, because a lot of my friends or peers went off the deep end,
Right.
because they didn't have that. But
didn't have that.
his best friend Marlon, my god brother, was giving me, because he cut our hair too. So growing up, I would always be talking to him in the shop.
Okay.
And he would always be telling me, like, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna do this, and this. that gave me a lot of that really gave me the spirit of the entrepreneur from him.
Okay.
That I didn't really know growing up. Like he would tell me something. I would come back 3 months later, he'd have it. I remember he first telling me he's gonna do the brand. I'm like, I ain't never seen nobody with a clothing brand. You talking about me being a kid in Chicago? He had his own clothing brand. Yeah. Then he was like, bro, I'm gonna get out this shop one day, man. I'm gonna have my own shop. Probably like a year later, he had his own shop.
Yeah.
And then, so those conversations just with like my brother's friend. You know what I'm saying? Important. Really was important to shaping and molding my life.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
A friend. They the same. You know, this is, you know, so.
My best friend Step Pops, man, God rest his soul, man, Mr. Galloway. We used to sit in the garage and he'd just drop Jews on us. And we like, man, what Mr. Galloway talking about? You know what I'm saying? But he was dropping Jews. Right, same thing with my homeboy, man, Mr. Boone, God rest his soul as well. He would give us Jews, man. Right. And you just being around the older or a different crowd of men, you get a different perspective, man. So, it's very key, man. Yeah. I got my best friend is the godfather to both of my sons.
That's dope.
And he talked to them, and he reach out to them, or when they see him, what's up, Uncle T?
Yeah, that's important.
It's important, man, because he gonna give them a nugget that maybe I don't have.
Or it may be one day where they just afraid to come to dad real quick, and they go to Uncle T, but Uncle T gonna come right to dad and let them know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to T, man.
For sure, man. You gotta have those. So going back to so how important is it shaping the next generation, the black dads? How important is it for us to shape the next generation?
Very important.
The learning and just really changing, man, the dynamic. How important is that? Because I see how hard it is just growing up, and my brother was so hard on me, but as I get older, it's crazy. I might be at the gas station when they pumping gas, and I see something, and I be like, oh, man, my brother told me about this 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So how important is it to change that next generation, man, to make sure you don't really taint it, but you just like passing down the what's supposed to be passed down?
I hope I don't offend anyone when I say this, man. Like, I believe right now this generation is lost, bro.
Nah, we came far away from where we're supposed to be.
And it's very key that we grab a hold of like young men, young fathers now to protect later.
Yeah,
protect tomorrow, because and like, man, I hate always sounding like the older or the OG when I'm at work, but like, yo,
nobody cares. That is a lost art. That is a lost art. Nobody
YNs,
intruding no more because everybody's scared to. Nobody's intruding no more.
And I keep when I'm around the
you hate to be that guy all the time.
Time.
Let me say something.
When I'm at work and I'm with the YNs, I be like, yo, y'all gotta chill.
Yeah, for sure.
y'all missing out on things, man, that could like elevate you or put you in position to, to be an example to someone else.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, man, like society has tilted.
It's the brainwashing, man. It's this generation is like super duper programmed.
They're gone, bro.
They're super duper programmed.
And it's like, man, we gotta get back to like.
I remember the cool kid was the one with the J's, and I was the one with the body. I don't
the body. Cause I'll be home in 40, 50. I'll be home in 60. They ain't getting life. So it's like, I'll do this and I'll be home soon. Like, no,
that's a crazy logic to have.
That is crazy.
I had good discernment as a child because even though I knew we didn't have a whole lot growing up, I always knew it was my brother too. I get in trouble. My brother would do shit like he would say, "Man, that's just dumb. You want to be like them dummies? Right. You want to be you dumb? You want to be like a dummy?" And I used to be like, "Bro, I don't want to be dumb. But that's what dummies do." And then that used to be, I don't want to be no dummy.
What's crazy is the older guys that I was around, they were the tech, YNs at that time, right? Yeah. But they were smart enough to say, "Man, we see something in you, bro. You go do this."
Yeah. Now it's like you.
Now it's just like.
But it's ruining them.
It's killing us, bro. It's killing this younger generation, man. Hopefully we can get a grip on society, man, and try to sway these young boys back to being.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. Just like us working at that recovery center, man. That's a big part of what's happening right now. Them drugs is tearing us up, man. Me and my friend went last week to feed the homeless. And it's just like, man, running into dudes my age that's just like laid out on the ground. That's God on the ground. These is the God on the ground, man.
That was crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Cause that's what it is.
He don't even know his potential. He don't even know what he can do to this world.
He ain't even reached the potential.
Man, they be so embarrassed because it's like you, a guy your age pull up in a nice car feeding you.
Yeah.
I should be in that nice car feeding somebody else. But it's like they've given up, man. And we need role models we need better examples. We need people like me. Like that's why I was like, you know what? I feel like God put a lot on my back for this flag I'm carrying right now.
Right.
But I'm carrying it.
But you built for it though.
Yeah.
From when we first talked at the recovery center, man,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard you, I said, yo, this dude, he gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we
Yeah.
don't work there now.
But it's just like,
but it was like,
how
yo,
God bring people together.
Is he okay to do a class by himself? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit in there with him? I can, but he
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
And here we are today, man.
Nah, for sure.
You still positive. You still pushing the narrative, man. That's dope, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I've seen what it like. Even having this is one great thing that I say about this generation and social media. It's like if you see a dude on social media and you like, man, I like the way he talk, I like the way he speak. I'm gonna follow him and I'm gonna do everything this dude do, and I'm gonna get the results that dude got. Because I've seen that. I've emulated public speakers. I've emulated people saying, hey, man, nah, don't succumb to your sexual urges. Read this book right here. Get these gems out of here. Hey, I need you to do this. Every day you should waking up at 4 o'clock. When God wake you up, read your Bible. That's when everybody supposed to be reading. Hey, do this. Hey, do this. Hey, y'all know this. Yeah. And that's what I've took from social media. Like, I've reflushed my whole algorithm to just nothing but knowledge. So every time I consume something, it's a gem. You know what I'm saying? So that's
dope. And I could be, don't quote me, man, but I think that was the purpose of TikTok.
No, that's what it is. That's the tech part of it. It was
supposed to be to
learn
learn something, to gain some information on whatever the finances, architect, whatever it is, and then of course
America took it and turned it
into entertainment, and people was losing their minds because they about to lose it. I'm like, yo, so yeah, you right, bro.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I can. But this generation is super programmed, and so it takes people, just a few people that there are, because it doesn't seem like there's so many people that actually care anymore. Right. They just like, man, let them.
They just let them go, man.
Fall by the wayside, man.
Just let them go.
So how do you support your black brothers around you that have kids? Maybe you know some people that's really not present, or they trying to be present, but how do you keep them motivated on that journey to, bro, like, come on, we need you, they need you. How do you keep them?
I always
say
hold this, man. We are the pillar to the next generation, right? So if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, you doing what you're supposed to do, they'll follow. They'll pay attention to us, man. Yeah, right. A lot of the guys that I hang around, man, don't really. They had their pops, Shout out to my homie Mel, man. He didn't have his pops every step of the way, but his pops was around. My man T, he had Mr. Galloway. My man John, he had Mr. Boone. So a lot of them had some type of guidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had limited guidance, but I had some. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Yeah. So I just try to encourage the dudes that I hang around, man. Just stay involved, bro. Like I said, with a 10-year-old in San Francisco, I can't really do as much as I would like to because we're not physically in the same space. But I try to stay involved as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I encourage the other guys, just stay involved.
Yeah, man, they say never condemn a dirty glass, just sit a clean one next to it. So I always just try to be a good example, man, for the people that I'm around when it comes to, like, my son, or, like, even with my friends, bro. Like, I try to be a good friend. Like, if my friend called me, bro, he need me, I'm going to try to get there. If he need, like, some, you know what I'm saying, if I got it, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to build you up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tear you down, because we got enough of that as black men already tearing each other down. I feel like your circle should be your recharge. The people you got around you should be your recharge. And when you see a black man, you're supposed to embrace him and, like, really show him some love, because we do get beat up, man. Like, it's supposed to be love. Like, I don't like the fact that you go out, everybody mean mugging each other, but you ain't gonna do that to that white man right there. You know what I'm saying? But you mean mugging your brother. Why you up to the mall with my family and I gotta worry about you mean mugging me? Now I gotta mean mug you back, because now you know what I'm saying? So, like, why we gotta be in this space with each other?
I went in Walmart not too long ago, man. I seen a dude as I'm going in, he's coming out, and I was like, "What's going on, bro?" And he looked at me like. I said, bro, I was just speaking to you, brother. That's it.
That's it, man.
You know
we made eye contact. Let's not make this weird.
Come on, what we doing? And like, yo, I got a sling
Yeah.
on my arm. I ain't about no.
Bro, I'm
just saying what's up.
Yeah, man.
It's like it's not even cool to speak to a black man now.
Hey, you come to a place where I'm from, like Chicago, you speaking to somebody, they want to know what your issue is.
Yeah.
Like, why you talking to me right now?
Right.
Like,
and that's what.
keep it moving. Like, what we speaking about right now? We into it. We beefing.
What they
You
say
know
on,
me from somewhere.
What y'all say on folks?
Yeah, on phone now. That's what they be saying, man. Yeah, man. It's crazy out there, bro. The culture is so different because you speaking about that, but like even here it's better than Chicago.
Right.
Some people do speak, but there ain't no speaking. Like it's no embracing no black. Like we not, and that's crazy because we far from where we supposed to be getting to, and people are so blinded to the problem.
That's
You know what I'm
crazy,
saying?
man.
I seen, man, listen, I don't care what political views you have. I don't care what you feel about nothing that's going on in this world right now.
Mm-hmm.
We are at a war with ourselves. And until y'all really pay attention to what they're doing, they're throwing black men in jail that need to be in jail. But then they turn around and putting black men against the people in jail. Everybody's fighting each other in the media.
Yeah.
So what? Why we even got to do this? Let's sit in these quiet rooms. Let's program them. Let's keep programming. Let's keep controlling. Let them kill each other, beat each other up. Let them stay in them low tax brackets on that low level, thinking that they own. And we just gonna sit back and continue to make most of the money.
You talking that talk?
Because they putting all these distractions in front of us. Man, y'all talked about that election for 3 weeks after it happened.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? Can you please go somewhere and make some resources for your people where you don't have to depend on the government? Yes, it's going to take some time. Yes, it's going to take money. But you complaining on social media ain't going to start that program.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? So I just need for y'all, this got off topic with black fathers, but just black people in general. Because it's Black History Month.
In my mind, I'm saying.
Because it's Black History Month.
That's a subject
It's time
that we do need to touch bases
It's time to lock in on what really matters because they got us against each other bad right
Correct.
now.
I agree.
They got us against each other bad right now. The biggest battle that they got against each other is the black father and the black mother.
Yeah.
That's the biggest battle right now. That's the biggest battle right now.
I don't want to ruffle no feathers, bro. I don't want to
Nah, but that's the biggest battle, man. And so just being black dads, we got to really just hold each other accountable, lift each other up, and just, man, keep each other, keep on a straight path because we already got 3 strikes against us. You go in the back, you gonna have 4, and it's like trying to get to +1 is already hard enough.
It's already hard, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
It's already hard.
So what traditions do you feel like you gonna pass down to your sons? I know we talked about taking some away that wasn't right, but what traditions do you want to keep? Like that's old school. Like I'm stuck to that. I'm instilling that in my boys. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing that I say, man, when it comes to my kids that I really value and I appreciate is that I always tell them to take care of 3 people in their lives, right? And they've been drilled this. They take care of their mother, first and foremost. They take care of themselves, and they take care of their sibling. There's only 2 of them. I only got 2 kids. So if they take care of their mothers, love their mothers, do what they're supposed to do right by their mom, they take care of themselves, allow themselves to be who they are, love themselves for who they are, and then they do the same thing for each other. Look out for each other, then I feel like they'll be fine.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is my youngest son, who's always the one that asks the questions. Well, what about you, Dad? Like,
right. Yeah. No,
like,
for sure. That's how my son is.
I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not all right, I'm gonna be all right. But
for sure.
That's the one thing that I've instilled in both of them, man, is that I want them to, at the end of the day, when it's your turn to be a father, teach them the same thing, man. Take care of your mother.
I like that dynamic though. Take care of your mom. It's gonna show you how to take care of your wife.
It's gonna teach you how to
take care of yourself. You gotta take care of yourself.
You
take care of your brother.
You diving, bro. I was gonna
go. You how to be a kid. That's gonna try to take care of your kid eventually.
Yep.
Outside of your reasonable service.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's dope. That's 3 pillars right there.
Yeah, that's what I put in both of my kids, bro. Your mom, yourself, and your sibling. Your brother.
Yeah, man. That's that takes wisdom and knowledge to parent like that. And there's probably a lot of people listening to this like, man, these dudes got a lot of insight, man. I need that.
Those 3 pillars
can't be in the book. It's not in the book, man. You got to get in the field.
Yeah. Nah, that's definitely nowhere in the book. So if it come out, I know where it came from. But no, I really took that, man, because one, man, like, me and my mom, bro, we grew up. I'm 9 years older than my sister. So me and my mom for 9 years that's all I knew. It wasn't always easy, bro. It won't always hard, but it won't always easy, you know.
Yeah.
So even now at 40, like me and my mom still clash, you know, but I still love her.
Got you.
I'm still gonna take care of my mom, you know. I'm gonna still do what I'm supposed to do, you know, even if we on opposite terms about certain things. So that's key, man, because that's your mom, that's your mother.
Yeah.
And then loving yourself is, I think that's the part that I missed growing up because, I was this football, basketball kid. Everybody was like hyped about recruiting and like you gonna go to the league and this, that, and the third. But like I was doing it really. Now that I'm older and I have an understanding, I loved it. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I was doing it to get out the hood or make it out of Virginia, as they say, you know. I didn't grow up in no hood, but, you know, being in the circumstances that I had, you know.
Proximity is everything.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, man, I'm trying to make it to the league so my mom ain't got to work no more. Right. Or, you know what I'm saying, I can take care of my sister or take care of my grandma. I never really, like, processed it as a teenager that I'm playing for somebody else. When I'm just like, well, I'm out there playing just to be playing.
Right.
So I didn't learn to love myself because once football and basketball is gone, it's like, well, what's next? Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it was crazy. I talked about this on my last episode because I played baseball up until my junior year and I quit. Simply because, man, I didn't have nobody like pushing me like every day, like this is what you need to be doing. It was the coaches, but like my dad wasn't really hands on when it came to like sports because he worked a lot. You know what I'm saying? My brother worked a lot. He played baseball, but it was me pushing myself, and I'm like, I seen kids that was driven like in that baseball, and so I took that as that wasn't really my lane. But after that, man, I kind of lost a sense of purpose a little bit, man, a little sense of direction, and then I joined the Navy and found photography. But it was just at that moment I knew how important a dad was because at that moment, because I seen the kids whose dad was there every day and pushing them and how that did them and how they like at an early age at 14, 15, these kids was like really leading our team. Like James Davison, one of my teammates, bro. I didn't understand how he had that discernment so early at an age. Like he just like yelled at us, like he had these words. He was like, you know, and he's still the same person to this day, but it was because he got that drive from his pops. Something I always admired about that, man. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, or like my friends they live with both their parents, man. All my friends that live with both parents growing up, I still remember them and I still talk to them. And I have good relationship with their parents because that's something that I always thought was so dope.
It's very key.
I always thought it was so dope, man. Going into their crib, I'm like, man, you got both parents. Like, that's so dope. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's so dope. Yeah. So, and then like getting caught up on the fact that like I'm like, man, Angelo and I grew up with two parents, but I turned out just fine the way that it was too. So not trying to get too caught up on yourself.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because you know at this phase of where I'm at with like dating and you know trying to figure out what I want to do now that I've been divorced for years, and one of the questions is, do you want to have another kid?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to have another kid, but I don't want to create another broken home, bro.
Yeah,
like that's enough. It's a lot of kids out here who just live with their mom and their dads wherever. That takes a toll on kids, bro. Whether you believe it or not. And I'm a witness of it. Like I said, I grew up with my mom, but like you don't know how dad feel because dad over there, and then when you with dad, you hear a different dynamic or a different story compared to what you heard with mom. So now you in this middle of confusion, like, bro, what is what?
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I think broken homes, man, like is a killer, bro. So
steering away from that for sure.
Steering away from it, yeah, bro, for real.
Okay, yeah. How do you take care of your mental health as a dad?
Woo, that's a great question.
For sure, yeah. How do you take care of your mental health as a dad, man?
Hey yo, when I say this, I'm wholeheartedly, bro. My kids are my mental health, bro.
Got you. That's dope. I like that.
Without my kids, I don't know where I'd be right now. That's just real. My mom always used to say this growing up, when I was growing up. If I ain't had kids, I'd be a bum. And when she used to say it, I used to be like, what's she talking about? But now, if I didn't have Kajon and Kaden, bro, I would be a bum.
Yeah. That's that driving force.
That's the only reason I personally feel like when I wake up, my feet hit the ground, bro, like I gotta go.
Yeah,
that's
it's a
my
driving
mental
force.
Health.
It's a driving force.
If without them, my mental health would be through the roof. It'd be crazy. So that's a great question, man. My kids are my mental health, bro.
Yeah, man. That was important for me as well. My mental health, man. I struggle with it a lot because I think I struggle with an identity crisis as well, man.
Yes, sir.
because it went from a point I was bullied real bad in like third grade, and that kind of stemmed to me not being as confident in myself as a person, and then I didn't know that went with me when I got a little older, and so when I finally started to like get a little attention, it kind of turned me into a different person.
Correct.
And so I had to refrain from that, and it through the actions that I was taking, I stood away from God, and I went to a huge depression. Man, I gained like 270 pounds back in 2019, and just being disrespectful to my son's mother, just like not being the man that I knew I was supposed to be.
Right.
And so from that point on forward, I knew that it was time for me to change, and so I started getting into the gym. Like I really got big on God, like number one, like that was the biggest thing for me. And a lot of people have steering away from God, but I want to tell people like my main thing that keeps me centered is like God. Like I haven't been to therapy or anything, and people might say I'm crazy, but I have resolved all my mental health issues on my own just through self-reflection and through the Bible, and just knowing like you got to get better. And I've sat back with myself like and really tell myself like you need to change this certain about yourself, because if you keep doing these certain habits, it's going to keep leading to this result that's going to keep affecting your mental health.
Insanity.
You know what I'm saying? Insanity for sure. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And I kept doing these things, having these conversations, knowing that it's going to affect my mental health. So just growing up and maturing as a man.
That's what it boils down to. And
just growing up and maturing as a man.
Just because of your age, of whether you're 40, 20, 25, it don't matter, man. Like, that maturity phase kick in at a different time for everybody.
Yeah, I see that, man.
I can say, man, I'm in that phase.
Yeah.
I'm in that phase now, man. Like, certain things that I was okay with at some point, I'm not cool with it no more.
Yeah.
You know, and it does. Now, even when you process it, it does help your mental health, man. For
sure.
You know,
getting that stuff off your mind, getting it off your chest. Yeah, because I used to, man, I may sound crazy, but this is a habit that I've learned how to do myself now. When I start overthinking, I start to speak to myself out loud. If it's a situation that bothers me, and maybe it was a woman, maybe she didn't text back, or just as an example, something like that, man. Maybe it's just bothering you, but say it out loud to yourself. You don't have nobody to talk to.
Bro.
Man, I don't know why she called me disrespecting me. Just say it out loud, and it helped for some reason, man. I don't know why. Just speaking your problems out loud helps. Don't keep them bottled up in your mind.
I know we on Black Fathers.
Yeah.
But I swear, maybe about 2 days ago, man, I was just like, yo, I'm tired of reaching out to people that don't reach out to me. Right?
Nah, yeah, for sure,
and
man.
I said it out loud. I was like, yo, I'm not texting nobody. I'm not calling nobody.
Yeah.
I'm
better than that.
I'm better than this.
And that right there was you reaffirming yourself.
The next day, phone going crazy, and I'm like,
you know, like
I said, what's going on, man? But it was like a reality check of like, bro, you got supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. You got the power within you to change it, man. Your dynamic. First, you gotta see it in your head before you see it in your hand, man. You gotta speak it.
Yeah.
Man, this was a dope episode, Keon. Man, this was real life diving into Black Fathers. Black Fathers matter. But before we get out here, if you want to leave them with a quote, a gem, something that's been on your mind, something that can help Black fathers.
Man,
Black men
me personally, man, one thing that I stand on, man, is this old head back in Charlotte, man. When I lived in Charlotte, he from New York, you know.
Right.
He would say, one hand wash the other and both wash the face, right? And I really didn't understand it, bro. I didn't until actually one day I was in the mirror and I was washing my hands, and one hand washed the other, but both washed the face. And when he did that, it was the symbol of like me praying. And I'm not really a praying guy, you know what I'm saying? But that day when it hit me, I broke down and prayed in the mirror, man. And so that quote of one hand wash the other and both wash the face could mean a lot of different things. But what it meant to me was that I need to, as you say, man, open up myself to my spirituality a little bit more, pray a little bit more.
Right.
To all the fathers out there, man, you know, do your part, man, because it's big at this part in today's society, man. We losing a lot of young black men because they lost. They don't have no guidance. I just want to say, man, thank you for having me, bro.
No, for sure. This was dope, man.
I really
this was
was
dope,
like,
bro.
Man, I don't know how this gonna go.
No, this was every episode, man. Everybody leave like, man, that was dope, man. I gotta do that again. That was fun, but
I'm with it, bro.
for sure.
Because you touched base on some things that I would like to come back and
go
speak on.
further into. But we could sit here, this been an hour, bro. We could sit here 2 hours and talk about because I talk, man. But these conversations that hasn't been had, man, that are not being had. So I really appreciate you coming out, bro. This was Black Fathers Matter.
Yes, sir.
This was a dope episode. You guys stay tuned for the next one because we only gonna be getting better.
Yes, sir.